All right, so today is, what is today? September 25th, 2022. And my next conundrum, I'm in the aft cabin, and there you can see I got the plywood cut out for this bulkhead back there. Still leaves plenty of room in here for an aft cabin, stateroom, whatever you want to call it. And the conundrum here is getting everything fit in that I want fit in here. Yeah, I made some temporary steps going up, to kind of give me an idea of what the companionway might be like. First of all, there's 26 inches width between those 2x6s, and that's too much. It doesn't need to be that wide. Could probably go down to 22 or 23 inches, something like that. But let me tell you what the thought is. The thought is to put the head back here in this corner, the companionway coming down here, a shower here in the middle, and then I want a bunk bed over here, or a rack, maybe not necessarily a bunk bed, but if possible, I'd put two bunks in here. One at this level, right here, and then it could maybe put another one up here if ever you had a big crew and you needed some more bunks. But anyway, and then a bunk over here that would go, be about like a 7-foot long bunk here. So the head would come out 4 feet, and then I'd have 8 feet in there, probably 7 feet for a bunk, and then a small set of shelves or cubbies or cubicles or something in here for storage. And then over here, like I said, I wanted to put another bunk over here. And then back here, I wanted to put a little desk, just a little work area back here. And I kind of wanted to keep this area back here where I'm standing right now, this little raised area here. I kind of wanted to keep that for putting a chair back here. A comfy place to sit. But to do all that, I originally wanted to put the companionway coming down here and then have it do a 90 and come down here so you had headroom up here when you're coming down, so you'd come down this way. But I wasn't going to be able to get a shower back here and do that 90-degree turn. I'm going to do it like I was planning on doing it like I did in the front, or I'm going to do in the front. Have a little platform coming down here like 9 inches lower, one step down. So you have a little platform here, and then the steps coming down. But and that would give you plenty of headroom up here, because the pilot house actually extends back to here. So you'd have, all sorts of room up there. Probably there's going to be a bench seat back here, or a couch, or whatever you want to call it. And that would be, raised up so you'd have plenty of headroom here then to walk down in here. But I just don't think that's going to work. For me to get everything I want to get in here, I'm almost going to have to put just a companionway like this in here. But then the problem is you've only got 2 feet between here and this deck beam. So you're not going to be able to really walk in real easily without banging your head. I mean, it'll work. I mean, it's certainly doable, but you're probably not going to want to come down it, facing forward like you would on a stairway. You're probably, you can do it, but it's, it's really, really tight here. So you might almost have to go up and down it, facing forward the whole time. Now, I could notch out here a little bit. I could bring this down to here. I could notch this out, and there's still some structure here, so you wouldn't be totally compromising your structure here. But I don't like the idea of cutting this deck beam out. This is a major structural bulkhead here, and I don't like the idea of notching it out, 10 inches or whatever that be. I mean, it puts us 10 inches lower in here, and it would make a, conventional ladder like this a lot easier to use. But again, I don't like cutting into that bulkhead. You know, I'm sure it would be fine, but I just don't like the idea of that. So I think this is what I'm going to have to do. And I think what I'm going to do is put a shower, probably a 32 inch by actually almost, 46 inches probably, shower in here. And then I'm going to have and that's going to just open into the cabin. Probably just have a curtain on it and have it open into the cabin. And then the door into the rest of the head will be here. And then this will be something like, the area. I'm not sure yet how to lay it out. I could put the toilet on one side and the sink on the other. Of course, these frames get in the way. So what I'm thinking maybe about doing is putting the toilet in here, and then putting a sink over here, and putting a countertop, a deep countertop in here that comes out most of the way here, so you're not tripping over these any more than you have to. But yeah, that would work. That would work all right. Do need to keep one other thing in mind too. My mast is going to be deck stepped, and it's going to come down right about here. Right down, well, it would come right down here, be right above us right here. So I need to reinforce all this up here, which is what I was originally thinking about doing, was making the shower stall here, basically just making it out of heavy, structural timbers to transfer that load down here. And then I'd have to, of course, under the sole here, I'd have to reinforce it then too, up from the keel. But that would work. But again, it's going to give me kind of an uncomfortable entry and exit point here. That's the only bad thing. Yeah, so I don't know. Everything's a compromise, like they say. There will be a deck hatch back here too, somewhere. I don't know, here or there, a deck hatch. That will be an escape hatch, so there'd be another way to get out of this cabin. Yeah, so. And some ventilation, of course. And then, of course, some port lights. And then back here is going to be the storage area, which is actually significantly bigger than a lot of cabins I've seen on some boats. You could actually make a cabin back here. It'd be pretty easy to do. But, yeah, I think we're going to use this just for storage. Put a big deck hatch back here, and I don't know if I'll put a hatch from this side going in there or not. I might not, I don't know. But anyway, I got these cut and at least set up in there. They're not fastened yet, but that's the process that I'm going through and thinking about now. I could put a centerline queen in here too, and I know a lot of people really like that, and that's fine. There's enough room for it here, and I could do it, but yeah, I don't know. I would like the ability to sleep a few more bodies if you're doing a crossing at some point. And me being single, I don't really need a double bed anyway, but well, I shouldn't say never need it, but if you're that cozy, the single will be fine. I'll put fairly wide singles in here, like 36 inch or whatever they are wide. Extra long twin is what they call them, I think. But that's what I'm planning on putting in back here. Maybe a little bit smaller over here. I don't know. I'll sleep over here, let somebody else sleep on this side. But that's the process that I'm going through, the thought process that I'm going through at the moment again. So, yeah, I don't know. Working back here again, getting these bulkheads cut out kind of got me thinking again. I need to decide what I want to do back here. And I think this is the only way I'm going to get everything in here that I want to get in here. Plenty of room for a bed over here. Plenty of room for the little desk area up there. Plenty of room for a chair, like a recliner or something to sit here. Plenty of room for my bed over there. And plenty of room for the bathroom here. And a nice size shower. And the only bad thing is, if I'm going to give myself all of that, then I'm going to have kind of a sucky way to get in and out of here. But I suppose I could. Yeah. If I brought this out, you know, the bottom out a little bit more and made it a little bit less steep angle. But to do that, I'd have to, again, probably cut that notch in there. Just not sure if I'm ready to do that. But you know what? Maybe that would be the best thing to do. That would give me... You know, you're still going to have the problem of hitting your head here when you come in, but... Yeah, I just don't really see any other good options. It would make the stairs a little more comfortable if I dropped it down to this level here. You know, that's a good 10 inches there. And I could kick the bottom out just a little more too if I wanted to. You just need enough room to get into this bunk back here, and I would guess that, you know, even if you brought this out, you know, this ladder out to here, you'd still have, you know, 3 feet or whatever to crawl into that bunk. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's all right if you're young enough, you can crawl in and out of things like this, but as you get older, it may be problematic. And I'm certainly not getting any younger. I mean, it's not an issue yet, but, you know, in 10 years it could be. But who knows, I'll be on the boat in 10 years. I suppose I could always just, you know, put a big hatch in here and then lower myself down from my boom up on the deck there. How's that for a plan? Put a fire pole in there and slide down the pole. Of course, it'd be a bit shimmying back up it, but oh well. Anyway, that's where we're sitting now. I'm still doing a little bit of plumbing back in the engine room on the fuel tanks. And I was looking at fuel tanks today too. I was thinking about putting a plastic fuel tank in, and I was debating whether I should put a tank in back here, you know, down here somewhere. But then I got to thinking, now the exhaust has got to go across there, so that fuel tank would have to either be above the exhaust system or off to one side. Putting it off to one side or the other isn't really a good option. I was originally planning on putting the day tank up on the deck, building a kind of like a deck locker or whatever, up on the deck, and then putting the fuel tank in that. But I can't really find any decent fuel tanks for that sort of situation either, so now I'm thinking about building myself another steel fuel tank, about 100 gallons. It'd be I think just 100 by, or 24 by 24 inch by 36 inch would give you 109 gallons. So 100 gallons, by the time you got the plating thickness calculated in there, it'd be a good 100 gallons, which would be more than enough for a day tank for this boat. Really want to go 24 hours. And at most, if you're burning 3 gallons an hour, I mean, that would be pushing fairly hard. That would still give you 24 hours plus. And you can see I got that one plumbed in, and the one down there plumbed in to the point where it's ready to be pressure tested. This one here, I haven't done this side yet, but we're getting there. I got it drilled and tapped and ready to go. In fact, that's probably what I'll work on next, is getting this side, getting the fittings put together. But I got all my parts coming in. I decided to go, I think I mentioned that in a video earlier, but I'm not sure. Decided to go with the Raycor 1000 series filter for my pump and my polishing system. Yeah. So I ordered a new one of those. The 500 series I'll put off the day tank going to the engine. But anyway, I got a 1000 series ordered for my polishing system in the transfer system. And of course I decided to go larger fuel line on that. I'm going 1/2 inch on that, so it should flow a little faster than the 3/8. So I had to order new hose, new barbs, you know, hose clamps. Yeah, got everything coming. So probably by the end of next week, we should have that pretty much worked out, with the exception of the run tank, or the day tank, which I think is going to have to go up here on deck. I think it's going to be the best place for it. And then I can kind of gravity feed it too. You can't do it with gas, but you can do it with diesel, and a lot of people claim if you can do it, it's the best way to do it. The only bad thing is it's up here now, and it's going to, you have to sit right here basically, on this side of the, because this is the pilot house wall comes down here, and so that tank's going to be sitting up here. So now I'm going to have to run hoses, you know, underneath through here somehow down into the engine room, which shouldn't be that difficult. And yeah, that's actually probably a pretty good deal, since all my filters and stuff are on this inside wall here anyway. That'll be a good deal, because then the fuel line can come right down into a filter and down to the engine from there. But yeah, so we're plugging away. I think I finally got my mind made up on what to do back here. I'm not thrilled with this, like I said, this ladder right here, but I think it's going to be the only way I'm going to get things the way I want it. And I can probably, like I said, kick this out just a little more yet, so it's a little, not quite such a steep angle, make it a little bit easier to get in and out. I don't know, I'm still loath to cut this out up here though, so I probably won't. But I may, when I do this permanent, I may kick this out just a little farther to make it not quite so steep, which will help a little bit, but of course it'll also bring your head closer to this as you're coming down it. I don't know if that's... See, coming up this way is really not an issue at all. And coming down, of course, is the same way, providing you back down, providing you don't want to come down forward, which I guess isn't that big a deal. We can live with that. Like I said, I can live with that and being a little unhandy if I still have everything else back here that I want, which is a full-size shower, a decent head space, my bed, my desk. Everything else is just gravy, I guess. You know, an extra bunk or two over here, storage, whatever, that's all just gravy. So anyway, that's my update.